All right, welcome. Today, we're diving into the incredible work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, which is all about the idea that you, me, all of us have the power to create a totally new reality. Sounds very amazing, right? Let's jump right in.
So, let's kick things off with a really big question. If you've ever felt like you're stuck in a loop, living the same day over and over, the answer might just be that your subconscious programming is in the driver's seat. And realizing that, well, that's the first giant leap toward taking back the wheel.
Okay, so how do we get back in control? It all starts with really getting the deep connection between what's going on inside of you and the world you see outside. Let's explore how your personality is literally crafting your life.
This right here is the absolute foundation of it all. Just think about it for a second. The way you think, the way you feel, the things you do over and over, they're not just random. They are constantly sending signals out into the universe. The life you have is basically a mirror, reflecting those signals right back at you. So if you want a different life, you got to start by becoming a different person.
Now get this is pretty wild. By the time we're about 35 years old, a staggering 95% of who we are is just a memorized set of behaviors, automatic emotional reactions, and subconscious habits. For the most part, we're just running on a pre-installed program.
So what does that 95% actually mean for us? Well, it means we're living most of our lives on complete autopilot. We get up, we think the same 60 to 70,000 thoughts as yesterday, we feel the same familiar emotions, we do the same stuff, and then we sit around wondering why nothing ever changes. We're literally, chemically reinforcing our past, day in and day out.
And that leaves us with a really clear choice, a kind of crossroads. On one side, you've got the old self. It's comfy, it's familiar, it's completely defined by your past. And you know where that leads? To a totally predictable future. But then there's the future self. You can't find this person in your memories. This self has to be intentionally and deliberately created right now, in this present moment.
Right. So how do we actually do this? How do we snap out of that autopilot loop and stop being that predictable old self? This is where we get into the real nuts and bolts of making a change.
And here's the key, and it's a big one. It's not about trying to add a new habit on top of the old you. No, it's about making a conscious decision to stop being that person. It takes a ton of awareness to catch those automatic thoughts and feelings and say, whoa, hold on. That's the old program talking, and I'm not choosing that anymore.
Let's break down how we get so anchored to the past. See, our thoughts are the language of our brain, and our emotions are the language of our body. So you think a thought, which produces a feeling. Then, that feeling makes you think more of the same thoughts. See the loop? Over time, our body can literally get addicted to these emotions, like guilt, or anger, or fear, and it will constantly pull our mind right back into the past to get its fix.
So how do you break a loop like that? You've got to interrupt it. And the way you do that is by teaching your body, emotionally, what your future feels like before it happens. You have to generate feelings of gratitude or joy or abundance right now. That's what starts to literally rewire your brain and recondition your body to a brand new mind.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds a little out there, right? But there's actually some fascinating science behind this, a model drawing from neuroscience and quantum physics. Let's take a look at how this internal shift can create actual, measurable change out in the world.
It all kicks off with something called heart coherence. When you really focus on elevated emotions, I'm talking about gratitude, joy, love, your heart starts to beat in this beautiful, orderly, rhythmic pattern. This coherence creates a powerful electromagnetic field around your body. Think of it like you're upgrading the signal you're broadcasting out to the universe. So you're broadcasting this new, powerful signal, but where does it go? Well, it goes out into what's called the quantum field. The easiest way to think about this is like an invisible sea of pure energy and potential. It contains every single possible reality you could ever imagine. And your energy, your unique signature, is what tunes you into one of those potentials and draws it into your life. So you see, it really boils down to a simple formula. When your thoughts, that's your clear intention, and your feelings, that's your elevated emotion, are perfectly aligned, you create coherence, not just in your heart, but in your brain too. And it's this incredibly powerful, combined signal that starts to pull in a new reality that perfectly matches who you're becoming.
Okay, that's the what and the why. Now let's get into the how. What are the actual practical tools you can use to start making this transformation happen for real?
The main tool in the toolbox, the big one, is meditation. And why is that? Because to really change, you have to get beyond your analytical mind. You know that voice in your head that's constantly analyzing and worrying? Meditation helps you quiet that voice down so you can access the subconscious, the body's operating system, which is where all those old automatic programs are running. And one of the core practices you'll see is this meditation called the blessing of the energy centers. It's simple, but it's so powerful. You just systematically put your attention on each of your body's main energy centers, starting at the base of your spine and moving all the way up to the top of your head. And for each one, you really feel an elevated emotion like gratitude or wholeness, basically programming each center with new, coherent information. It's an amazing way to create balance and harmony throughout your whole body.
And hey, this isn't just about sitting on a cushion for 20 minutes. You can keep building these new pathways all day long. Simple things like writing down 3 things you're grateful for, journaling about old habits you're noticing, or just mentally rehearsing how your new future self would act in a tough situation. All of these things are incredibly powerful ways to keep the momentum going.
All right, let's bring it all home. How do all these pieces, breaking the habits, creating coherence, using these tools, how do they all fit together? This is the part where you really start to become supernatural. When you lay it all out, you see it's a really clear step-by-step process. First, you break that habit of being your old self, which disconnects you from the past. Next, you practice heart coherence to literally change your energy signature. That new energy connects you to brand new possibilities in the quantum field. And when you do that over and over and over again, you start to manifest a new reality. It's cause and effect.
And this, right here, is the absolute game changer. This isn't just wishful thinking or positive thinking. You are fundamentally changing your neurology, your chemistry, your very energy. You are literally becoming a new person. And when you change that deeply on the inside, the laws of the universe say that your outer world has to change to reflect that. It has no choice.
So, in the end, all of this isn't just information. It's really an invitation. It's an invitation to stop being a victim of your past and to step into the role of the conscious creator of your life. It's about deciding what future you truly want and then becoming the person who is living it, right here, right now. So, the only real question left is, what future are you ready to create?